do everything you can to survive and not to give up. As long as you tried everything you can, then if you fail, you'll sleep okay, and you'll pick yourself up, and you'll learn. When things are better, you'll learn from your mistakes and you'll start again. You give up too readily, you'll forever kick yourself, and because I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of people who will fail. But I think the other important thing is just not to take failure too seriously. I mean, it's something that happens to something like 80% of all small business people fail, either go into Chapter 11 or actually go bankrupt, and that's a lot of people, and some people take that really badly, and they should realise that it's the important thing just to learn from it and come back and start again. And an awful lot of really big multi-millionaires and billionaires who've been through 2 or 3 bankrupt companies in their lives. It's what limited companies were designed for by governments. It was to say to people, try things, and if you fail, it shouldn't affect you personally. People know the risk they're having in dealing with you, and don't be embarrassed about your failure as long as you've tried everything you can to avoid it.
We're not going to be flying. I'm not going to be flying in space this February as I'd hoped, but I'm not going to give dates. I've given dates in the past and not met them, and I'm not going to give the skeptics about our program any ammunition in the future. We will build the second spaceship. We'll make sure it's 100% safe. We'll learn from this situation, and when we're ready to go, we will go, and we will complete what we started. And I think this is a British company. Most British people celebrate this company. We're going to, I think, achieve some incredible things, and I think we're going to make a radical difference to this world. And I'm going to support the 400 engineers who are working so hard to make this happen.
There is a very, very thin dividing line between success and failure. Most people who set up in business without financial backing, they fail at some times in their lives. I've only just stayed at the right side of that dividing line. For instance, just after we had a record company, I was fed up flying on other people's airlines. I felt that the experience of flying on other people's airlines was an unpleasant one, and I decided to set up an airline. Our bank went into complete panic attack, and when I came back from doing the inaugural flight of Virgin Atlantic's very, very first flight from London to New York, I came back to find the bank manager sitting on my doorstep and informing me that they were going to close Virgin down on the Monday, and this was the Friday. Pushing the bank manager out of my house, telling him he wasn't welcome, which is a dangerous thing to do to your bank manager, and then spending the weekend ringing around the world to all of the distributors of our music, asking if they could give us a temporary loan to get us through the following week, which they were good enough to do. And by the end of the week, we'd changed banks. We'd actually managed to find a bank that was willing to lend us 30 times the overdraft facility that our bank had lent us, and we managed to survive. And I think the moral of that story is actually don't think of your bank as somebody that you're beholden to. People just don't move from one bank to another. Sometimes you need to be willing to step up and move your banks in the same way that you should step up and move your doctor on occasions. Anyway, I learned from that lesson.